Yeah. 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 So many lies that you hear from the net, they don't get her respect. She reporting the truth, not a check. You want an unbiased opinion straight from the chest, not a bit of accomplice or someone here for a check. Tune in, these are thoughts from a lawyer on a mission who goes so hard it's like she works on commission. Trolls in the comments might say she tripping cause they lack the knowledge, they don't know they missing. Got a couple current events that you like, wanna know about law from the eyes. Tired of all these blogs running lies because they agendas are disguised. Tune in to the intellect, cause I'm sure y'all missing all the facts of the case that she steady is gifting. Someone here for the people, man, it's so uplifting. If you ain't subscribed yet, then you just omitting facts.
Hello, everyone. It is Pam Esquire, also known as your Law Intellect. If you are new here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I'm tired. I just got off a plane. I was in New Orleans. Today is Danielle. Danielle, come here. Come here. Come here. I don't lie. Today is Danielle's birthday.
Yes.
She's 7.
Yes.
Y'all see that 7 right there? So y'all say happy birthday to my baby.
Yes.
But anyway, we were in New Orleans. She went to her first basketball game, and she was lit. She was lit at her first basketball game. Girl, go ahead. I mean, you chick. Girl, go. Okay, that's your time to shine. I mean, girl. She don't want to go. She liked this camera stuff. And so yeah, we ended up. My oldest son lives in New Orleans, and so he got a suite for the basketball game. So that's where she was last night. Y'all know I'm old. I can't even hang like I used to hang. So it was rough. It was rough for your girl. Dad was knocked out. Let me see if I could. I'm gonna show y'all a picture, but I got a video with her. But I have to cut the volume down because they was. Yeah, let me see. Hold on. This Danielle at the game. Hold on. Let me cut the volume all the way down. They were playing music. You'll be able to tell that in a minute. Oh. Get it. She was on the Jumbotron. She was so lit they had her on the Jumbotron. I was like, girl. Thank you so much, Miss HLS. I appreciate it. I'll make sure she get it when that Google check hit. I appreciate it. Granny Grace said, I've been wondering where you were. Yes, I was in New Orleans. So yeah. Thank y'all so much. And then let me see if I got a picture of Dev. This was Dev at the game. Hold on. Let me stop sharing this, and then we're gonna get into what we came here for. You know, this is just the intro. We're gonna allow people to come in. Come on in, have a seat. Let me see. If I can. There go Dev at the game. It is way past my bedtime. You guys enjoy. Have a great time. But anyway, we had a good time. It was cool. So anyway, y'all go ahead and hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. I just wanted you guys to know where I have been. I was going to go live in the membership, but then I was just tired, man. I don't know. A lot going on. You said, no, he was asleep. Ain't no bored. He was knocked out. Thank you so much, Silver Natural. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you all. I'm gonna make sure I show her all of the happy birthdays and stuff. And we got on Spirit. For real, I'm gonna get started in a second. We got on Spirit Airline. We ended up getting on I said Spirit. When we got on the airlines, they actually gave her like free a whole lot of miles or something so she can get a free ticket. She was going around like it's my birthday. She had on the little sash, she had on a crown, she had all of that or whatever. So they did give her a free ticket. She was cleaning up today. But yeah, my baby is 7 and time is flying by. But anyway, let's get to what we're here for. So, today we are here to talk about a lawsuit that was filed. It says Jane Doe, but some of you guys may know who the person is. Because you say Jane Doe, I'm going to honor the Jane Doe. Although the same person put out a statement. So, I don't know why you would go as Jane Doe. I thought that was a little interesting that you would go as Jane Doe, but yet put out a statement. But I'm gonna honor the Jane Doe since that's what it has on there. So I was not as familiar with who this pastor was. He's a prophet. It was a series. I don't even know how to explain it. So I didn't really cover this because I try to stay out of the whole church thing. I have my own biases as well. So I just try to stay out of it. Uh but during the summer, I believe, and most of you guys, if you guys have been following this, anybody that has been following this probably knows what I'm talking about. But there was a guy, his name was EJ, and I guess he went to the church at some point, very, very close to Lovey Elias, I believe is his name. And he came out and he accused him of all type of things such as witchcraft and warlocks. And he started doing these series on, even though he was there for whatever amount of time, decades. Apparently one day he woke up and had a revelation, and he said that he was involved in dibbling dabbling in some dark spaces. And he was coming on and on and on and on, like perpetually. And then every time something happened to him, he was blaming Lovey because he was the one that was going on talking about him and trying to expose him and all of that. So Lovey ended up suing EJ. So there was a lawsuit with EJ, a bunch of claims. I don't recall it. It's been a few months, but he did sue EJ. Now, at the same time, you had women that I guess saw EJ and they started telling their experiences. So you had women who were alleging that they were all in some type of relationship with Lovey and he was manipulative. This is according to them. They said that he was manipulative. He lied to them, made them all think that was his wife. That they were gonna be his wife. They were that one. God brought them to him, and God told everybody they was gonna be married to everybody. He was. It sounded like he was running a little game. That's what it was sounding like to me. But again, this is all alleged. This is their rendition of what happened. My issue that I really had, one of the reasons why I stayed away from it is I don't know this guy at all. I don't know Lovey Elias, Man in the Moon. Know what he looks like, obviously, because he's on the internet. However, I don't necessarily agree with people that say he's just a man, he was single, all of this with these different women, because my issue that I have with not just him, but I have with a lot of pastors is you need discipline. If you don't have discipline, I just don't feel like this is a position for you to be in. If God has authority over all, why doesn't he have the ability to help you with your flesh? And that has always been my stance. That is my issue with a lot of pastors, because for some reason, I've always said it, pastors are like Christian rock stars, and you cannot tell me they don't know it. I've been in church. I'm a PK. My dad is a pastor. I've seen women almost look like they throwing their panties like a concert. It's always been that way. And so and I think as women, when you've been raised in the church, you want to believe that somebody that says they are of God, from God, abiding in God, they're going to love you like Christ loves the church. And so you thanking God and you praising, and you in your prayer circle with your girlfriends because God done did his big one with these pastors. But then you find out you wasn't the only big one that was happening, because it's a few of them. And I don't like when people say it's just a man and all of that. I hate it. I don't care who you are. I hate when they say it. And the reasoning why is you took on the mantle, you took on the call. If you take on the mantle and the call, then I think that you should have certain standards and you should have discipline. Because stuff like this, these type of scandals will hurt the people. And then you have people that leave churches for things like this. And they leave church is the institution. And I don't care if you leave the building. My problem is when things like this causes you to leave God. That is what my issue is. So when people take this lightly, like this is the same as Pookie on the corner, I don't view it that way. I view it for the spiritual leader that you say that you are, and I have a certain expectation as well. With that being said, I'm about to get on the women. Okay. Granny the Great, I'm on it. I'm on that too. And I said that from a leadership perspective. But I've also seen you women out here that think that you done hit a lick because you with a pastor. So I've seen that as well. I've seen them hunt pastors. I've seen them when new pastors would come to churches, they would see who gonna get the pastor. It's been conversations about it, and this is what you seek out to do. Why you want to be a first lady as a person who was in a household with a first lady? I have no dang on clue. What they told you the life was of a pastor, pastor's wife, I don't know. That is a ministry within itself, because you have to deal with all the shenanigans that come with it. And as a woman, you have the ability to read the word for yourself too. So you have to have accountability. You can't just you knew some of this stuff was game. Like you knew some of the stuff is game. You knew some of the stuff wasn't right. You knew some of the stuff wasn't add up, but you wanted what you wanted. And so because you wanted what you wanted, you went on ahead and you accepted some things as well. So I see both lenses and both perspectives, but I do place a little bit higher, I guess, blame when it comes to spiritual leaders. Because just if you got an issue with that, because you're gonna have it, you're gonna have women that want you, you're gonna have women that come for you, and it's an aura or something. I don't know how to explain it. It's the charisma. I don't know what it is, but people really think that people that are pastors are hot, like it's something really hot about them. I don't know. That used to be one of my questions. You don't want to be a pastor, right? Do you think God called you as a pastor? Because if God called you as a pastor, I'm gonna need you to pass me over. All right. That's how much that was an intro. We just meeting conversation that we had. But there are women that want that. And I don't know if they feel like it validates them, that someone that has that relationship with God wants them. So it's an internal thing. I don't know, but I'm not here to be nobody's psychologist. I'm just here to read this case. Okay. And it's not going to take long to read the case, because when I looked it up, because again, there was a post of somebody saying that they were going to sue him. So I just looked it up to see what it was and figured, it can be something that we talk about. So there's that. Jazzy said they attracted to the power. Good point, Jazzy Sunflower. I really think it's the anointing that females misread. Well, it depends on what your definition of anointing is. I think people say, so some people just it's the emotions of the feel good that you get in church. That's why you have so many people that shout when they feel so good on Sunday and then they miserable Monday through Saturday. Why? Because it's surface and that's the momentary, temporary feel good. However, when you get into the word of God yourself, there's a different relationship and different connection of which you thirst, you hunger. That's why it tells you to hunger and thirst after God. So if you're reading the word for yourself through the week, then you're prepared for the battles that come out here. You're not prepared if you're just there from the emotional aspect because you think somebody is preaching good, they preaching right. People, a lot of churches put a whole lot into the music ministry because it's very attractive to get people to come and be in a congregation. And music makes you feel good. It's people that be shouting and they leave out and go to the bar. I know because I grew up in it. So it doesn't, it's like an adrenaline rush or something. So it just depends. It's something hot about a preacher. They when they start hooping and hollering, I don't know, it just does something to some women. I don't know. I don't know. Miss Carter said this is so sad. We keep seeing this day after day with these. I think it's just social media. And why I think it's just social media is highlighting it and people are talking about it on social media more is because it's too many people that are older that have similar situations that's doing story time. So they had trauma. It's just now that it's being more vocalized on the internet because of you have the World Wide Web and all you gotta do is upload a video. Like it's no restrictions like that. So I always put my personal feelings, I put those out there, but when I talk about just the law, strictly the law, that's what I do. And regardless of how I feel about you as a person, that's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm gonna do in this case. And in my opinion, this lawsuit is whack. That's just my opinion from the legal lens. I said limbs. I'm gonna tell you why when we pull up this lawsuit, but I'm gonna need y'all to make sure these likes is matching, okay? Need y'all the likes is matching. Um, Absolutely not. Not all, yeah, I agree. Not all preachers are, but yeah, I'm not trying to, I was never trying to hope I get the right one. Like that just and that's a whole nother conversation. I just want to give my upfront issue that I had. Again, I don't know this man, but when I saw the different women, I didn't look at it in the same lens as a lot of people that were kind of just, some people were kind of bashing them. Did that some of them just go too far with these 20-part series, and some series wasn't even saying nothing, and yeah, it was a bit much. Some of it sounded like wounded, they were hurt, they really thought they was the one, then they found out they wasn't the number one. It was sounding like that because some of it you did know better. I mean, the Bible gives you a whole lot of thou shalt nots. Why do you think the Bible gives you a lot of thou shalt not, or tells you, gives you commands, and because it's not natural for us to maybe operate in a certain way. So we get commands that we have to try to get our flesh under subjection. So yeah, yeah, it was just too much back then with the lawsuit and all of that. But this one was pretty cut and dry. I hadn't been on a minute, so I was like, okay, we can talk about this. Danielle said, "You're telling the truth. My ex-husband is the preacher, and my God, today, I know you got some stories, sis. That is a ministry within itself. I'm so yeah. You can be one of many. It does not make you number one. Yeah, and they say just like David E. Taylor. When I was covering him, it was very interesting because one of the allegations with David E. Taylor was that he would have his workers, which were members, who did the phone lines. He would have them send nude pictures or them self pleasuring themselves, and they said that it was it was presented in a way as if these people did not want to do this, but this was an order by him. So that's how it was presented from the government. His defense was he was in consensual relationships with these people. And he is not a person. He didn't deny that he took these pictures and had them. He said basically he he can't date like regular people. So almost like this was a way to figure out who you want to be with. It was an interesting argument, but he still had 50 hundreds of people outside the courthouse when we came out that were picketing on his behalf. And they all it's alleged to be multiple women when it comes to the David E. Taylor. So some of these people, they just think they're gonna be the prize. Everybody think that they the best. They're like, I'm the best. I am going to, almost like it becomes a game. I'm gonna win the prize. And if I just keep on being there doing what he wants me to do and all of that, then maybe I'll get the prize at the end. So I do think some of them will act like they don't know it's other women, but they really know. They just think that eventually they're going to choose them. But you have to look at it like there are other women with your same mindset. So if I got 10 women that's thinking the same thing, why would I just settle down with you? Aunt Gotti said, "Oh my God, I went to his church a few times. I'm not shocked, but wow." Um, School Old School said, "I'm a PK too. My mama was the pastor." Kojic, oh, Church of God in Christ. You gotta be born in it. Okay, so let me pull up this lawsuit, y'all. Y'all gonna see my intro was longer than this lawsuit. So this was Jane Doe, an individual plaintiff. It's Jane Doe 1. So I don't know if there is an anticipation of adding more people because I don't understand the 1. But again, I don't know. Is Lovey, Elias an individual, Revelation Church a religious organization, and Doe's 1 through 50 inclusive? And so it's a complaint for damages and injunctive relief. Action based on the civil code. So they're suing for actual battery, sexual harassment, civil code section 1708.85, intentional infliction of emotional distress. You guys know we see this in every lawsuit, literally. Negligence and breach of fiduciary duties. So this is the intro. Again, some of you guys probably know who Jane Doe is because I do. First of all, she told her story in some videos, even though it was very slow moving. She did tell her story, and she did a statement. So I don't know. Seems like there's no reasoning to be saying you want to be anonymous when you put out a statement that you filed a lawsuit. I mean, just saying. So the introduction, this action seeks to recover damages resulting from the calculated, systematic, and spiritually abusive conduct perpetrated by defendant Lovey Elias, a self-proclaimed prophet and pastor of Revelation Church, who used his position of spiritual authority to manipulate, financially exploit, and sexually abuse plaintiff and other vulnerable women. Again, these are allegations. I'm not giving no legal advice. I'm just giving, my opinions. Okay. So let me get that clear. This is just allegations. He's going to respond. And we'll get into that on what I predict the response would be as well. But defendant Elias intentionally and fraudulently misrepresented his marital status and future intentions, coercing plaintiff into a long-term sexual relationship, convincing her to move across the country, and funding their relationship by misappropriating thousands of dollars from the Revelation Church ministry funds and its members. The Revelation Church knew or had reason to know about Elias's actions and ratified them through its inactions. And so, of course, they go through each of the individual parties, which would support part of this jurisdiction and venue allegation. So let's get into the general allegations, and then we'll go into the counts. Did this all happen after he married his wife? I believe it happened before he married his wife. Uh, yeah, but let's get into it. It's interesting. So, commencement of the relationship and fraudulent inducement. In 2022, plaintiff was recommended and began watching defendant Elias's services and started sharing his content on social media. Around April 2022, defendant Elias initiated contact with plaintiff, addressing her as his dear daughter. This terminology has a prominent meaning in church lexicon. He later invited her to come to his church in California, offering to pay for her flights. Defendant Elias flew plaintiff and her best friend to California and provided lodging, a hotel, and a rental car. During this trip, he sent plaintiff money via PayPal or Apple Pay. Defendant Elias began showing romantic interest in plaintiff. Plaintiff, believing Elias to be a man of God, engaged in showing interest as well, thinking he might be the man of God that God has for me. You know how God be, I think you're my wife. Some of y'all done heard that before, that God done told some man that you was his wife, and you like, huh? Did he? Well, why he ain't talking to me though? But yeah. During this initial trip, Elias took plaintiff on a tour of a new house being built and made comments such as, quote, "This is where we're going to have our babies," end quote, or, quote, "This is where I want us to live," end quote, fraudulently suggesting a future together. The relationship escalated sexually, and around 6 months after the first trip to California, plaintiff felt that the sexual relationship was wrong, but Elias, leveraging his authority as a prophet, told her, "God is with us. You don't have to worry. He's approving of all of this stuff," constituting spiritual and mental manipulation. You said from daughter to wife. I just Googled him. I saw him a while back. Yes, he was is he Nick Cannon's pastor or something, or a spiritual advisor? He is connected to Nick Cannon in some way. Joy said, "This is why you need to know God for yourself." Auntie Evie said 6 months in and now it's wrong. Okay, girl. Let me get through this, y'all. I knew y'all was gonna be hard in the pay. Financial exploitation and relocation. Defendant Elias repeatedly assured plaintiff he was single and not seeing anyone, even though plaintiff asked him directly multiple times. He falsely claimed his last relationship ended because his ex-girlfriend's family would not accept him and his son. Plaintiff was living and working in Indiana when Elias encouraged her to move to California and look for a place to live. Elias flew plaintiff back out to California, where he met with Elias's cousin, Masanjo, to look at apartments. Elias began sending plaintiff monthly payments of approximately $2,000 to $3,000 for her bills and living expenses. This continued for about 2 years. Plaintiff moved to California in February 2023. Upon moving in, Elias met her at a Best Buy and gave her $10,000 in cash. Elias also took plaintiff on trips to Miami, Africa, and Dubai. Elias also bought plaintiff multiple luxury items, including items from Gucci, Alexander McQueen, Dior, Bulgari, and they said Alexander McQueen again. I think that was a typo. We could have just left that one off because we did that twice. On information and belief, Elias and Revelation Church funds to pay for these gifts and travel expenses. So they really don't have concrete proof, is what I'm getting from this. On information and belief is maybe perhaps you have a reasonable basis to believe that it's true. However, maybe it takes further discovery in order to support this claim. So you have on information and belief. So now we're going to get into the continued. I can't stand y'all in this chat. Continued deception. Oh, let me make this bigger for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Continued deception. Oh, that's too big. All right. In the summer of 2023, just 2 years ago, defendant Elias informed plaintiff that he had to marry his ex-girlfriend, Maggie, which is now his wife and the mother of his newborn son, but claimed he had to do so for ministry purposes only and not because he wanted to be with her. This sounds like game to me. Following his marriage, Elias continued to sustain the sexual relationship with plaintiff, apologizing and telling her, quote, God is with us. Do not worry. Soon everything is going to make sense. To keep her lingering and still sexually engaged, bro. Did you not know that he got married? What is happening here? So all he had to do was say, this ain't who I really like. This is what I had to do for the sake of my ministry, but I ain't in love with her, baby. It's you. Baby, it's you. It's about you, is what it's about. So let's just keep doing things how we doing it, like it never happened, even though I had a whole wedding and the video was all over the internet. I did see that. Let's just keep doing it how we've been doing it. But you know he's married. You said a hope deferred. Crazy. It's about deceiving you back. It's called game, honey. We didn't all have been a victim. We welcome to the Players Club, honey. We have all been the victim, but it's about whether you choose to continue in that. Like at a point, you do have to have accountability. Come on now. And then he was not married when he was with you. Some people define single in different ways. Some people believe you're single until you're married. So if you're just dating someone, child, I'm dating you, and you too. And then when a woman says, am I the only one? Some of these men just need to stop lying and just say, no, you're not. And some of these women will probably still date you. Because when I used to date, I used to tell people, yeah, I'll date you, but I'm dating, him and him too. Because I don't want you to be in a position where we're out and somebody come, you're caught off guard because we run into somebody or something. So I've always been that way. I think it's unfair for women where another woman knows way more about your life and your household than you because the dude wants to lie. I just always had a problem with that. When it comes to the dating portion, there are literally people that will accept that if you're honest. But if you're a person, I guess, where you saying you about to be my wife, then maybe they feel like it's just a monogamous relationship even before you get married. Maybe it wasn't clear. I don't know. You said she's a grown woman. That's from Silver Natural. You said, is she a teenager or a grown woman? Staying in it is her fault. Okay, that's from I Am Lucinda Moore. You said it's like she knew what it was. Yeah, I feel like just like they say men like to hunt. I think some women, we want to really be honest, sometimes you do feel like, oh, they picked me. And I think she just was a pick me. That's what I like. She thought the man married somebody. Like, what did you think? He was just gonna get it annulled in 3 months? What did you think was gonna happen? And then this new thing they have where everybody talk about covenant relationships. As long as we in covenants, you'd have to look up what the covenants entailed in the Hebrew realm. Y'all not having real covenants with all these people and then try to bypass that by saying because you don't have a marriage license, because covenants in the Bible, you were willing to, if you broke your promise, you were willing to have your life taken. Literally, they would it was like a whole ritual. They would cut up the animals around you. You going around in circle. You got cuts on your hand. You're do this. I mean, the promises was something serious. So for you to just throw around covenants and it's a spiritual marriage and whatever it takes to stay in them draws that some people do, you got to be smarter than that too. You have to be smarter than that. It's just it's game, probably the same game we see with people that don't profess Christ, but they just have a spiritual aspect to it. Anna says she willingly participated in adultery. That's what it sounded like to me. And she wants to blame him for it. That's why I said, I read it and I was like, oh, okay. Lisa said, I agree that no woman should have the tea. It puts you in a messed up situation. Did the money get cut off? Let's see. I don't know. I don't think. Yeah, I believe obviously, right? If you're coming out at minimum, if you're coming for California is not cheap. California is very expensive, one of the most expensive states to reside in. So when you moving from one state over here to California where the rent is tripled, then you were reliant on she probably was relying on his support. I don't think I would have got up and went nowhere. You no, you would have to literally we've already went down to the clerk's office and got our marriage certificate before I just packed my wraps and roll, and I'm just relying on I'm relying on you telling me God's got us. God is going to protect us. Just trust and believe. No. Felicia says she got 10 racks from the rip. Keep taking the money and shut up. Shut up, please. I am Lucinda said you have to love yourself enough not to fall for the okie doke. First flag was not marrying you before she moved from her state. Yeah, Michigan to Cali is totally different, lady. That's a whole different situation right there. But yeah, I think we pretty much are we're all on the same page, I think, so far when it comes to this here complaint. So he tells her, don't worry, my child. Everything, my daughter, to now, whatever their relationship is, don't worry. Everything is going to be fine. But what are you doing tonight? Can you meet me at the Holiday Inn? I already have, it's room 245. But don't worry, God's got us. In November 2024, on a trip to New York, Elias asked plaintiff about her recent doctor's appointments regarding her health and fertility, which he required her to attend. After having sex, Elias stated to plaintiff, we just made them, referring to babies. Plaintiff subsequently experienced symptoms of early pregnancy and had dreams related to pregnancy. When she saw blood, she believed she had a spiritual sacrifice miscarriage. When she asked Elias what God said about the pregnancy, he laughed and said, oh, not yet. Don't worry. We're going to have a lot of babies. Indicating he knew she was not pregnant or that the pregnancy had terminated. Am I missing something here? Did we have a doctor's appointment in between here? Did we take some pregnancy tests? Was this pregnancy affirmed? Was this pregnancy positive? Or are we just saying, because she just said I felt symptoms of pregnancy. I'm specific on words being used. You felt symptoms of pregnancy. However, I don't see any confirmation of pregnancy. And then you believed it was some type of spiritual sacrifice. I guess he was doing his, because he's accused of being a witch or a warlock. So they said that she believes, I guess, that he did something in the demonic realm, and the pregnancy was a sacrifice for something. I don't know what the sacrifice was for. Couldn't have been for sins because Jesus had done that. So I don't really know. Yeah. Queen Sheila said, I knew this was gonna plummet into foolishness. I need y'all to hold on, stay with me. Hit the like button, stay with me, okay? That's, was she ever pregnant before? These are legitimate questions that we are trying to dissect over here with this complaint. Her videos and her allegations are totally different. I'm trying to figure out where's the truth. Somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle, I guess. You said poor judge. Well, it's a quick read, okay? It was only like 10 pages, and we already halfway finished, and I keep stopping to do commentary with you all and make sure we're engaged in this chat. Andrew's confused. Bro, I don't know how to help your confusion. You know, usually I have an answer. I don't know how to help your confusion. I don't know. Miss Carter said the things that women say. Andrew want me to read it again. I'm gonna read it one more again, okay? Plaintiff subsequently experienced symptoms of early pregnancy and had dreams related to pregnancy. When she saw blood, she believed she had a spiritual sacrifice and miscarriage. When she asked Elias what God said about the pregnancy, he laughed and said, "Oh, not yet. Don't worry. We're going to have a lot of babies," indicating he knew she was not pregnant or that the pregnancy had terminated. Plaintiff discovered Elias's deception in November 2024 when she was approached by Anisha, another woman who was also in a secret sexual relationship with Elias. See, that's another thing. You were a secret. That's another red flag, sis. There's a difference between being private and being a secret. My relationship is usually private, but people know I have a relationship. But when you're a secret, nobody even knows you exist. So that alone, where we gotta tiptoe at night, I gotta go send you a lift and meet you on the corner and all of that stuff. I don't know. I am Lucinda said he is public in all caps with his wife. He is. And she knows about it, obviously, because he didn't even try to do no secret ceremony on the beach somewhere or go to Africa and get married. It's not, he did. It was, I watched the video on YouTube. So Mrs. C60 said, "My God, today." Yeah, that's what she said. Spiritual sacrifice. I can't go no further than that. This is her story. So she finds out about Anisha. And then she says, Elias had shared plaintiff's naked photos with her, claiming plaintiff was merely, quote, "somebody who wants me," and randomly sent him the photos. So she finds out about Anisha. And apparently Anisha said, "Oh, girl, I know you and you do know. He didn't send me naked photos of you and said that you wanted him." Mm-hmm. Sipping that said, "So another woman let you know it was deception. Nothing else told you it's all a lie." So let's get into these causes of action, because this is my area here. Now the facts is, again, allegations, her rendition of the story. I'm sure he has his own facts and he sees it a little bit different than this, or maybe a lot different than this. Anisha also confirmed the spiritual abuse regarding fertility, stating that Elias had told her that, quote, God was opening up her womb on the same New York trip, despite having sex with plaintiff and claiming they just made it. So apparently, the day she thought they made the baby that we don't know existed or didn't exist in the first place, he slept with somebody else. Or said God is opening up the womb. No, let me go back. Maybe he didn't sleep with her. Let me see. No, I don't know if he slept with her. Let me scratch that. Sounds like Anisha just confirmed the whole fertility thing that Elias told her God was opening up my womb. was God opening up Anisha's womb, or was he opening up Jane Doe's womb? I don't know. But anyways, that's the last paragraph of the facts as she sees them. You said, let me get some popcorn. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. So the first cause of action is against defending Lovey. All right. Defending Elias knowingly, and it's sexual battery. Defendant Elias knowingly made false representations of material facts, including that he was single, that he intended to marry plaintiff, and that their sexual relationship was approved by God and necessary for their shared spiritual future. Elias made these representations with the intent to deceive plaintiff, to secure her participation in a sexual relationship, and to convince her to move to California under the influence and support. Had these representations not been made, plaintiff would not have engaged in sexual relations. Had these representations not been made, plaintiff's sexual advances would have been declined. Plaintiff justifiably relied on these representations due to Elias's position as the man of God and prophet, which resulted in her allowing Elias to have sexual relationship with her. So my issue with this entire first cause of action is it just does not apply. I don't know how else to. First of all, you all know when it comes to battery, it's the non-consensual touching of another. That is the premise of battery. You acknowledge in the complaint you guys had a sexual relationship, regardless of whether you're saying, I did it because I thought he was my husband. He was going to be my husband. I did it for whatever reason you saying you did it. That still does not make it fit into sexual battery. So you're not even doing the elements of battery. You're just putting a bunch of facts that aren't even satisfying the prong. So I'm not feeling the first cause of action at all. And in her video, they only had it once. Her videos were so vague, and she was talking really slow. Let me move on. The second cause of action is sexual harassment against all defendants. So that's against the church, and that would be against all the Does, and it be against Lovey, Elias. Okay, so first of all, there was a cut and paste right here. This is no dig at the lawyer. When you incorporate all of the different paragraphs down right above it. So you incorporate all paragraphs 1 through 33 as fully stated herein. When you go down here, you incorporate the exact same paragraphs when you should have been adding 1 through 39, because now you have all of those that you want to incorporate. But anyway, plaintiff and Elias were in a pastor-spiritual daughter relationship as intended by the legislature in Civil Code Section 51.9. Elias made sexual advances, solicitations, requests, demands, or engaged in other verbal, visual, or physical conduct of sexual nature that were unwelcome and pervasive or severe. How are they unwelcome when you moved from a whole state and moved to California? I don't know. Y'all can help me out on what you think. Elias committed the above actions through his misrepresentation and fraudulent inducement as detailed in paragraph 1 through 26. Plaintiff has or will suffer economic loss or disadvantage or personal injury, as well as emotional distress and the loss of her statutory or constitutional rights. Defendant Revelation Church knew or had reason to know about Elias' actions and took no corrective measure or action, thus ratifying his actions. Elias is a pastor and representative or agent of Revelation Church. Part of this too, going to this battery, it really sounds like buyer's remorse that a lot of people have had. And you are defining 50%, if not more, of a lot of men, and they will all be hit. You know how many lawsuits would be out here if women could just say he tricked me, he manipulated me, he lied to me, and you can just file a claim? the courts would be booming. I mean, you're saying what a lot of women and some men as well have been through. That doesn't make it a cause of action. Anyway, let's go to count 3. Again, they're incorporating by reference 1 through 33. Child, now you at 45. So it should be 1 through 45. All right. Plaintiff gave Elias photographs or videos that were meant to be private. Hold on. This is against Lovey, Elias Civil Code Section 1708.85. Plaintiff gave Elias photographs or videos that were meant to be private. These photographs or videos show plaintiff expose intimate body parts or engage in other sexual acts. Elias shared those photographs or videos with plaintiff's consent. Elias knew or should have known that he did not have plaintiff's consent to share those photographs or videos with other women, and the plaintiff had a reasonable expectation that private photographs or videos shared in confidence with Elias would in fact be kept private. Plaintiff suffered general or special damages in an amount to be proven at trial. Now that claim, if proven, would be a problem. You cannot show other people photographs. You cannot get mad at somebody and threaten to expose their pictures or whatever. You can't. There's a lot of laws in various states pertaining to that. So if that is true, that may be something that would have to be litigated. So I see a claim so far, in my opinion. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. You said no words. That's from Mrs. C. Okay. Sherman, I don't know if I missed you or not, but thank you for the super chat if I did. Nikki Forever, thank you so much for being a member for 17 months. Hey, Lisa, and thank you so much, Nikki, for Nikki Forever favorite for becoming a YouTube member. I appreciate that. You guys are the best. You said get them together. That one might be a problem, but the other ones, I told y'all, listen, whichever side of the fence you're on, regardless of what it is, I'm going to have to be as honest when it pertains to my opinion, when it at least comes to these legal claims. So the photograph one, Mayor, intentional infliction of emotional distress, very, very high bar. Those usually are the first claims that get thrown out. I don't know if it's extreme and outrageous for somebody to play games. It's a whole lot of songs out here that show you people been playing games. Again, honey, you got to incorporate 1 through 50. Okay, you got 1 through 33. And this is counts. Yeah, the 4th count. Defendant Elias engaged in extreme and outrageous conduct by fabricating a relationship. Is that really extreme? Falsely promising marriage and children. That somebody is lying right now. Somebody just lied again. Somebody lying in New Mexico. Somebody lying over there in New York. Right now on this, while we on this live, they lie all the time. Requiring plaintiff to undergo medical fertility testing, lying to her about a potential pregnancy. Lying to her about a potential pregnancy. Girl, I don't know. And sharing her private naked photos with other women he was simultaneously exploiting. So, yeah, the photo thing is a problem for me. This conduct was specifically calculated to inflict severe emotional distress, leaving plaintiff mentally and emotionally broken and distraught when the truth was revealed. Elias's actions would approximate actual cause for plaintiff's harm and damage in the amount of proven at trial. That's very hard to prove. Again, 5th cause of action, invasion of privacy, public disclosure of private facts. If it got something to do with them pictures, that might be a problem. If it can be proven. Because again, these are all allegations. Again, plaintiff incorporates the wrong paragraphs. Okay, it should be through 54. Defendant Elias willfully and maliciously disclosed plaintiff's private naked photographs to a third party, Anisha, without consent. This disclosure was highly offensive to a reasonable person and was used by Elias to maliciously paint plaintiff as just basically somebody who wants me. Disclosure of these photographs would be considered highly offensive to a reasonable person in plaintiff's position. These photographs were not of legitimate public concern. Elias knew or should have known or acted with reckless disregard of the fact that a reasonable person in plaintiff's position would consider the publicity highly offensive. Plaintiff was harmed, and Elias's conduct was a substantial factor in causing plaintiff's harm. The sixth cause of action is negligence. I want to know how they trying to pull this one off. Okay. I'm not going to keep saying this because apparently this is the cut and paste and we're not changing our paragraph. So I'm going to let that stop bothering me. This is the sixth cause of action. Plaintiff and Elias were in a special relationship. Elias was plaintiff's pastor and spiritual father and someone who convinced plaintiff that he was a prophet and a man of God. Elias counseled plaintiff and provided for her financial needs. As a result of this special relationship, Elias had a duty to protect plaintiff and not impose any harm to her. By fraudulently inducing plaintiff into sexual relations, Elias breached that duty. Elias further breached his duty by insisting plaintiff receive invasive fertility treatment. Did she have treatment or did she get testing? Okay. Hold on. Requiring plaintiff, I'm at paragraph 52. Requiring plaintiff to undergo medical fertility testing. Testing and treatment are two different things. When you have like some type of treatment, a lot of time they're like going through the actual process so that they can, if you got a medical issue, I presume, or if you're taking those hormone shots to try to actually get to the place to get pregnant, it's two different things. But anyways, they said she received invasive fertility treatment. Elias further breached his duty by insisting plaintiff close her business in Indiana and move to California, where she would become totally dependent on his generosity. Queen Shadina said, we are in court over promises. We'd be in there every day. So nothing at all about her makeup career. This is more embarrassing than her videos. Where's the part where she told him she was getting evicted? Not one doctor appointment. Is crazy. So apparently she had a business in Indiana and he was going to help her, I guess, give her some money. To me, this is what may have helped trigger it. I ain't saying this is it, but she moved to California. He told her he was going to help her open a business and he probably was going to fund it, according to her. And I don't think he funded it. So, yeah, that's that. Elias further breached his duty by insisting plaintiff receive invasive fertility treatment. I read that. Opening the business in Indiana, moved to California to where she will become totally dependent on his generosity. That's on you. That is on you. To move to another state without a ring on your finger. And a ring doesn't even matter at this day and age. You might want to not move until you guys went down there to the clerk's office and he checked, I've never been married before, or I've been married and I've been divorced. The divorce was filed on this day and this is our marriage license and we get married in 30 days. I'm not moving. You uprooted your entire life for somebody that you didn't even know if they were really about to be with you or not. Lovey might need to bottle up and sell whatever he got going on because it might go for a high rate. Elias further breached his duty by sharing plaintiff's personal, private, and intimate photographs and videos with other women. Elias' action were the actual and proximate cause of plaintiff's harm and damage and an amount to be proven at trial. And not really seeing the negligence. That doesn't make any sense. That's not what negligence is. So that was the sixth cause. They're calling this the sixth cause as well, but it shouldn't be the sixth cause. It should be the seventh cause. Plaintiff incorporates by reference paragraph 1 through 69 as if fully stated herein. So they got that one right. Okay. Revelation Church had a duty to its members to not hire sexual predators. Revelation Church breached this duty by hiring and continuing to employ Lovey, Elias. Revelation Church's actions were the actual and proximate cause of plaintiff's harm and damages and the amount to be proven at trial. Plaintiff Jane Doe prays for judgment against defendant Lovey, Elias and Doe's 1 through 50 inclusive and requests relief as follows. As to all causes and counts, general and special damages and amounts to be determined by trial. As to cause 1, punitive and exemplary damages. As to cause 2, which was sexual harassment, all remedies allowed under statute, including Civil Code Section 52. B, punitive and exemplary damages. As to cause 3, Civil Code Section 1708.85, all remedies allowed under the statute, punitive and exemplary damages, injunctive relief requiring Lovey Elias to destroy any photographs or videos of plaintiff in his possession. As to cause 4, which was IIED, punitive and exemplary damages. Cause 5, invasion of privacy. As to 6, negligence, punitive and exemplary damages. As to all counts, for pre-judgment and post-judgment interest is allowed by law for costs of suit incurred herein, including reasonable attorney fees for such other further relief as the court deems just and proper. They had another cause of action up here. They must have forgot, because that says breach of fiduciary duties. That's not even, I didn't see that count on there unless they amended their complaint or something, since I saw this earlier this morning. And I can see a couple of potential claims that are better than these, but these claims right here, I don't, yeah, think you guys kind of get my drift on how I feel about these claims. The picture situation is maybe a problem if it can be proven. The other ones I don't really see. I'm not seeing it, but the business in Indiana is new. I hope she got paperwork, videos, photos. I hope she got money to pay if she loses. And so what I suspect, every state has a way where you can try to dismiss the case. I suspect the response is going to be a motion to dismiss the case. Each claim, like I said, the only issue that I can potentially see that would be a problem is those pictures. That's what I see. But for the majority, especially like even the church, that stuff can get dismissed. I think it would get dismissed if a motion was filed. So that's my prediction. They'll file a motion. Also, because some of these claims don't make much sense, they probably have some type of court rule. Again, I don't practice in California, so I'm just telling you from my experience from Michigan. They probably have some type of court rule, because what happens is we have court rules where if you affix your signature to any document, you are essentially attesting that you have done due diligence, investigation, and that your claims are grounded in law and fact. My issue with this is some of these counts just do not make any sense to me. And so it wouldn't shock me if they said they wanted some type of attorney fees for having to respond to this. So that is my take on this here lawsuit. Y'all got to be careful out here. Okay. Be careful out here. Tracy said, I wonder if the other person that is suing him and her gets to depose them both. The other person that is suing him and her. Girl, DM me. What you talking about? Who is him and her? And yeah, if they make it past the motion to dismiss the lawsuit, then yeah, you'll have a period of discovery. And in that discovery, you can depose. But this lawsuit, I know somebody said that this may be a little bit different from the videos. This lawsuit makes it even more clear to me when her videos were happening. I think she's shown pretty much her hands on what her issues are because I've heard most of this stuff before when she was doing her videos. I'm not saying spiritual manipulation isn't real. I'm not saying you didn't get bamboozled. I'm not saying that it's right. I said that in the beginning. I think you should be held to a higher standard as a pastor. And I think it's an embarrassment. I would be embarrassed if my pastor was out here getting sued because of lack of discipline. So I think from that standpoint, where you can turn the hearts of the people with some of your actions and just what you've been, what God has basically gifted you with to a body of people for you to be covering. I just, from that perspective, I think it's wrong. But again, as it comes to some of these women, you are not without a brain. And some of this stuff, especially in this situation, you knew this man was married, which means I would suspect he was engaged at some point, right? I would suspect she was at the church. Wouldn't she have been at the church when all this stuff was happening? I would suspect that at least somebody, if you had any connections within the church, they told you if you couldn't figure it out that they were engaged. And I would suspect you confronted him at some point and asked about his relationship with this lady. I don't think he just up and married somebody. That seemed like something you knew. Then that would be before the marriage, but then even after the marriage. And again, these are just honestly salacious, gossipy facts because I don't really see the legal causes of action when it comes to it. But I don't. After he married her, you are acknowledging you still was sleeping with him because you thought what? What you think? He was gonna marry this lady in front of this congregation and then what, immediately leave her? Because I think she got pregnant almost immediately. And you thought he was just gonna leave her? Like you really was thinking that was how I was gonna go? It was something so special about you that he was just gonna marry this lady on Monday and then do what? God's got it. He's going to work it out. How? You married. The scripture is clear. Like, how? So some of this is just common sense. And we see it all over the story times on TikTok. We see it all over Instagram. None of this stuff is a new phenomenon. None of it is considered IIED or outrageous behavior. I don't know what to say, Jane. I don't know. I knew it was going to be interesting when somebody put out a statement and say, I want to be Jane Doe. I don't even understand that. She continued a special relationship after he got married. That's what she said. Oh, you going to email me? Okay. Let me see. Did you email me already? Oh, here it is. Is this another loss? Hold on, Tracy. Hold on, Tracy. This is too much. Let me see if this download. He in another lawsuit from X. See, I ain't even know nothing about this one. So this is somebody going pro. Hold on. Plaintiffs. Is this case going? Yes. Wait a minute. So this case is going right now? Like why all of this is Girl, let me look this case up. Thank you, Tracy. I ain't know nothing about. I told you I wasn't even following this case. I was aggravated. I was sick of these pastors getting into stuff. Let me see something. Hold on, you guys. We gotta in the interim. If you'd like to hit that Cash App or the super chats, go ahead and do that. That would be great. If not, just make sure that you make sure that you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We got some more stuff going on. 25. What is happening in this lawsuit, Tracy? Hold. I didn't know all this was going on. 25-SDCB. So she got sued in a whole nother lawsuit. Did she get served? Because this is the same court, right? Oh, wait a minute. Is this the same court? I'm assuming it's the same court. Yeah, it's the same court. 25. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for the Cash App, Sharon. I appreciate it. Let me see. Hold on. We got to do some research live on the air. Because I'm trying to figure out this rabbit hole is way deeper. I mean, what I done got myself into. Because once I start, I can't stop. 5, 6, 8. Okay, so they amended the complaint. Is this the amended complaint? Let me see. Oh, this is the regular complaint. I don't know if they amended it to something else. Hold on. Oh my goodness. Vexatious litigation. Hold on. There's a lot going on in this case. Tracy, why didn't you tell me all of this was going on? Usually you sending me this stuff. The motion to court filed by Revelation Church. The court declares to be a vexatious litigator. Oh, whoever it is, they just declared them a vexatious litigator. So they must go around filing lawsuits against people. Wow. They filed lawsuits against people, I guess, and they may not necessarily have legitimate claims. So they were declared. So they're saying this is weird. Oh my God, this is weird what I just seen. So Lovey has 3 active cases, right? The one with the man on YouTube. So she does have that. He filed that. This church person and Jane Doe, but the church lady is suing him and Jane Doe. Yeah, they just declare her vexatious. So I don't know if that means the court is going to. It seems like they would just drop this lawsuit. Jeez. So let me because they were pro per, they were representing themselves. So I'm gonna pull up that what the court declared related to this person. So it was a motion filed by Revelation Church to declare vexatious litigant. The matter is called for hearing and argue. On the court's own motion, the case management conference scheduled for October 28th is advanced to this date and continued to December 15th. The court takes the hearing on motion to declare vexatious litigant under submission. Later, the court, having taken the matter under submission, now rules as follows. The motion to declare vexatious litigant filed by Revelation Church Los Angeles on September 25th, 2025 is granted. The court declares that the plaintiff to be a vexatious litigant. The clerk is directed to add her to the vexatious litigant list, not the no-fly zone. They got a whole list. Within 10 calendar days of this order, plaintiff shall furnish a security bond in the amount of $10,000. The court will subject plaintiff to pre-filing order in accordance with the mandatory judicial counsel forms. So basically, before she can ever file a lawsuit again, she has to get permission. Typically, if you want to file lawsuits, you just go in there and you just say, I'm about to file. But when they say that you are vexatious or you misuse and this is what some of you all were asking about, some of these people that file stuff like, they can't stop you from filing this stuff. Well, most of the stuff you guys were referring to the Sean Combs lawsuits, and those were filed by lawyers. And typically you get the benefit of the doubt as a lawyer that you've done some type of due diligence, because there are sanctions that can be ordered against you if you haven't done your due diligence, or you file something and they send you a letter and they will lay out exactly why you're not going to prevail on this. So we're going to give you an opportunity to withdraw this, or I'm asking for sanctions. And that's usually how that works. But yes, it's crazy. So this was the lawsuit, and I don't know. This is interesting. I can't see on here that she was actually served. I can't see that she was served on her. So hold on. It was 8 counts. Plaintiff UEFLL Inc. B, also known as Lovey, bring this case in action for themselves and others similarly situated against defendant Lovey Langomba Elias, Revelation Church of Los Angeles, also known as Revelation Church of Jesus Christ, and Lovey Langomba Ministries, collectively defendants upon personal knowledge of the facts pertaining to plaintiffs and the information and factual belief as to all other matter, plaintiffs allege as follows. I don't even see her like when they say that. So from August and September of 2021, plaintiff started attending the church. On all of defendants' media platforms, the religious practices to the public, including the plaintiffs, were marketed and advertised as that of true Christianity from the Holy Bible, teaching of Jesus Christ, the Son of our Heavenly Father, with Jesus Christ as the center. Around the spring of 2022, plaintiffs discovered one of the defendants, Mr. Lovey Langomba Elias, owner, pastor, and prophet, and they put that in quotes, so I guess they're questioning that title, of Revelation Church LA, had been misleading and falsely representing and misleading his followers and church members against the biblical teachings, including do not kill. Shortly after, thereabout, defendants, including Mr. Lovey Langomba Elias, on several occasions proudly boasted about directly causing the medical complications of one of his church members and resulting to her death due to this member's just touching Mr. Lovey L. Elias' son Andrew's head. Hidden, secretive, dark, occultic practices of defendants serviced by Mr. Lovey Elias were soon discovered, including psychic palm reading background. Defendants and prophet Lovey Elias went to extreme lengths to conceal from the public and its members his true dark art practices, psychic palm reading, witchcraft, voodoo, and false prophecy. The defendant's image as prophet Lovey Elias misled followers believing to be experiencing teachings from a true man of God with Jesus Christ-like characters and behaviors, but not that of one who practices hidden dark arts, witchcraft, voodoo, palm reading, and occultism. So that's pretty much what EJ was saying about him, that he was around him and he witnessed some different situations. I know he mentioned the owl. I don't know. I never went through a whole video with EJ, but he was going hard in the paint. Like then when his son got taken from him while he was at church, it was on live. He got served and all of that, I think, on live as well. But like when his kids got taken and it was on live stream and he was blaming Lovey on that, it was just a mess. Defendants in private Lovey Elias went to extreme lengths to conceal from the public and its members his true dark arts. The defendants, rather than build people of fire, equipping and empowering them as advertised, prophet Mr. Lovey Elias manipulated and intentionally inflicted harm and emotional distress on plaintiff and targeted church members, most who are afraid to speak out due to the use of dark powers, witchcraft, voodoo, and occultism by defendant prophet Mr. Lovey Elias. Lovey Elias Revelation Church, also known as RCJC, under the corporation Lovey Longomba Ministries LLC, intentionally and fraudulently collected money in the form of offerings, tithes, donations, building seeds, guest speaker offerings, and other special seeds through the marketing and representations of himself as a true prophet, pastor of God. Defendant Gigi Rodriguez, Angel Marie Rodriguez, is involved in this case by cooperating with using church funds and plaintiff's financial contributions to cooperate in sexual affairs while defendant Lovey Elias was implied to be married. So whoever this was, he or she was suing those women, saying you benefited because you took the money that we was tithing to they use their videos to sue them and say, oh, well, y'all misappropriated your tithes and offering I was giving, and some of that was my money. That's interesting. Okay, I ain't see that one coming. Got it. Okay. On a false advertising claim, including false representation or misrepresentations by fraudulent religious purpose and gain, plaintiffs also claimed defendant Lovey use of church finances to service multiple women, including these defendants, for sexual gain. Plaintiff is seeking damages and equitable relief based on cause of action stated therein and personal or financial damages due to the complaint herein and other matters. He went through the statement of facts. I don't think this is too long either. What is this? Plaintiff Libby started going to the defendant's church, Revelation Church LA, in or around August or September 2021 until October 30th, 2022, when the plaintiff was traveling more frequently out of state. Plaintiff was a devoted attendee of the church. Plaintiff gave thousands of dollars to the church. Defendant Lovey, also known as Lovey Elias, is a self-proclaimed prophet who states and claims to see visions and heal people of their sicknesses. After a couple of weeks of attending the church, the defendant Lovey started flirting and showing admiration toward plaintiff from across the pulpit, where the defendant will look at plaintiff in the middle of thousands standing during church to isolate and give flirtatious smiles. How do you know he was looking at you, ma'am? Plaintiff was unaware of defendant Lovey's being a married man at the time and having an affair with known mistress Herein, but defendant Lovey continued his behavior, but the plaintiff ignored defendant Mr. Lovey. Plaintiff has never met defendant Mr. Lovey, aka Prophet Lovey, prior to attending this church. Defendant Lovey posted videos of plaintiff on YouTube and displayed plaintiff in a negative light. This video and others posted by defendant Lovey, aka Prophet Lovey, of plaintiff were not consented by the plaintiff to be posted. Defendant Lovey has refused to pull down these videos. Defendant Lovey, spiritual practices are false, occultic, demonic misrepresentation of spiritual things, thereby misled the plaintiff financially and spiritually. Defendant Lovey confessed numerous times to the church congregation to inflict fear and manipulate its powers and spiritual practices on members of the church. Defendant Lovey confessed numerous times that the he inflicted through his occultic demonic practices, sicknesses, and previous members of touching his son's head, thereby his curse or doing caused the woman to die shortly after. Defendant Elias's behavior directly and negatively impacted plaintiff's life spiritually and financially. So they did false representation. Second cause of action was IIED, intentional infliction of emotional distress. So plaintiff was seeking 1.5 million in praise for relief and respectfully request that this court enter judgment as set forth below. Awarding actual damage to plaintiff for the defendant's fraudulent and misrepresentation claims, awarding restitution so as to restore the status quo, the financial time lost, and the compensation. So you want all your tithes and offering back? You know, there have been several institutions that have filed law, well, people in institutions that have tried to come against certain churches and sue them because they didn't use their money for what they're saying they used it for. And courts have always shot that down, especially in California. I think they're like the leading case law on it. Awarding where appropriate any personal injury and statutory damages and such other relief as provided by the statute. Awarding requests to pull down the videos on social media, YouTube, to intentionally cause emotional stress to plaintiff. Awarding prejudgment and post-judgment interest on such monetary relief. Awarding equitable relief in the formative injunction prohibiting the illicit conduct described herein. Oh gosh. Yeah, I can't. Must have discernment. Andrew, the demons hide behind the Bible and stay in church. That's from a lady 7. I mean, where did Satan even come from? Is he African? Yes. Yeah, it's very messy. Mm-hmm. Who said it sound like you're doing everything but the Lord's work? I don't know what to think about this. This is a mess. Okay, this is a whole mess. He got a few lawsuits, like I said. Looking at the docket, hold up. Let me see if I can get towards these documents here. Minute order, motion to clear, pre-filing order, declaration of due diligence. Let me see. Or did they try to? I wonder if those other women like were even served. This is a mess. When you guys got time for Bible study? My goodness. No shut-ins, no prayer-ins, none of that. My computer won't even download this mess. They're like, no, ma'am. I was trying to see. Okay, so this was filed. I'm trying to see the order of what's going on in the case. So there was a proof of service. There was a substitution. Let me go to this one first. So the case was filed April 21st. These documents aren't downloading fast enough. And then There were proofs of service for substitute service. So it looks like they were alleging, I guess, that she couldn't serve them. Notice of case management conference. Yeah, I might have to follow up with this. Maybe I'll do something in a membership, but yeah, it's not. They're not downloading documents on here. It's taking too long. But anyway, that is what is going on with the pastor over there at Revelation Church. And we'll see. We'll see if my prediction is right. Either either maybe the attorney is provided with information that maybe you shouldn't go through with this, or it may cost you attorney fees, because this is probably, I would assume this is taken on a contingency basis, which means that we as the attorney, like representing the plaintiff, you believe that you're going to get an award at the end from the defendant, so you take your percentage, whatever that may be, depending on the state that you're in. You take your percentage off of the amount that you are able to recover, and that's it. So all through the litigation, you come out your pocket, which is the opposite of like Lovey being sued. Like, you being sued, that's not contingent, because you gotta defend. So you getting a bill every month. Like, that's a billable hour thing. So whoever this attorney is that is representing Jane Doe is probably taking this on contingency, hoping that it's some money at the end. I don't know, guys. Yes, Spiritual Gangster said he apologized, so he basically admitted to doing something, and it's some shady. I quit watching because it was off. I agree. He did come on and he did a whole apology, and he was saying, I was in a relationship. This is what I'm saying. What my catch-22 is. This is what my conflict is. I have to say what it is with. I would have did that whole, if I chose to file some type of claim, it would have looked totally different than that complaint. I don't even understand some of those claims, how those causes of action and how they apply, unless it's something special in California that don't go on in other states on some of these claims. But nonetheless, he did admit to having a relationship with her in a video. He just kind of downplayed the relationship and threw shots at her, like she's just mad because I didn't marry her. Some of the stuff was unnecessary. Like, he threw shots at her like that, which could come back and bite you later, because why would somebody really move from Indiana to California unless you gave them that type of promise? And for you to say things like she just wanted to be the one and she wasn't the one. But I don't know. I do believe that he used his position, this is my opinion, to get some of these women. And I think that a lot of these women were drunk with the power, and I'm with the man of God, and he's so, because they think these pastors are like Jesus's first cousin. So I think that they got enamored with that. And do I think that he took that? Yeah, I believe it. I think that he took steps to, get some gratification out of it. He admitted that in a video. So I agree. And I agree. I've seen some clips of his preaching. A lot of people say he's a nice guy. That's fine. That doesn't really move me, because you have to have a level of charisma. You have to have a level of presentation. You have to have this level for people to trust you. So I would assume that he kind of comes across as being nice and all of that. That doesn't really move me like that, because I've seen a whole lot, hundreds of him. But the clips I've seen and some of the things that I've seen him like say, I don't agree with some of his doctrine. Like, I don't. I've never just sat there and watched. And it's been other things. Like, I think he had a musician that was there for a while that left. when they heard some things. There have been some allegations about his spiritual father and some not so great things about his spiritual father. And I don't know if he separated himself from it or maybe he has not. So yeah, it's been a lot going on with him, and it's too much. It's too much of a distraction of which you don't need to be carrying out kingdom business. That's just it. Yeah, we know you by your fruit. That's what. That's it. I went to his church with my sister one time and knew this ninja was on BS. I went for moral support for her, but girl, the way they pissed me off, I don't have enough characters to type it off. Well, what did they say? Andrew, you know that's what David E. Taylor said. He's Jesus' best friend. And then when his followers, when I said something about it, they're like, "Well, the Bible says he calls me his friend." Well, somebody might have said that in the comments. I'm like, but that's general. That's putting us all on the same playing field. Once people realize that these leaders are not more special than you are, we all have gifts. We all are here for a purpose. We all have people that we're supposed to serve. If you're a nurse, your patients are who you're supposed to serve. I'm a lawyer. My clients are who I'm supposed to serve. Whoever I come across, I feel like it's an opportunity to serve. I don't care if it's just for me to smile. And they had a bad day. I don't care if it's just a hug they need because of whatever they're going through. If it's outside of the law, that's just what we're all here for a purpose. What they do in a lot of churches is they make it seem like it's something so superior and special about them, and you're not on their level. That makes you revere them. That makes you idolize them. That makes you give up all your money. It's a tactic. There are literally consultants that teach churches how to get people to give more money. There are literally consultants that show people things that you should say from a psychological standpoint in order to get, these mega churches didn't just come overnight. So you have to know the word for yourself. They'll say they want you to read it for yourself, but if you read it and they're misinterpreting it and you thinking, oh, well, they've been in the word for 20 years. I'm just a babe in Christ. I don't read it that way, but I'm gonna read it the way they have it. And so you're still confused. And that's what the church has done. Unfortunately, the church has also been for Black people. It has also been a safe place. It was where you went because when you wasn't on the plantation, it was where you were able to gather with your family. It was what gave you hope in situations and times that were hopeless, seemed hopeless. It gave you the faith that they talked about in the Bible. Like that was your faith gathering, and to be able to get preached that it's going to be better, eventually it's going to be better, that all things work together, that even though we out here with the cotton field, it's going to come together. So it has a trauma base to it, but then it also has where you have people that have gotten out of it. I see a lot of pastors that do exactly what slave owners did to us. I think when they get in positions, just like slaves that was free slaves that was selling slaves in Africa. Like it's the same concept. And so it happens in the church, and you have to know it for yourself. If you see something, like, you have to have some discernment. You go into a church and something don't seem right, just leave. Everybody is not hearing from God like they say they are. I'm just going to say that. Everybody is not. And you want to believe it because a lot of times we just want to hold on to something and we need that. But I think people are waking up, and a lot of that is because social media. Things that would have been quiet don't remain quiet anymore. Auntie Eva said, and that's the tragic part, hijacking the purpose of the church to abuse the congregation. Demanding to see folks' medical records to prove they have chronic disease before they will allow them to come to the office. What? Oh, I've never heard that one before. Are you serious? Yeah, that's wild. Wow. Even like the little videos I saw, the setup to me look dark. Not like dark, like, oh, it's demonic. It just seemed like a depressive atmosphere, like a gloomy day. Like you going in, it's been raining all day and it looked gloomy. That's what it reminded me of, even on video. I just never could get into it. And like I said, a lot of people have said he's a very nice person. I know people that are cool with him and they know my stance. I'm like, I don't know the guy, but I can say that I have discernment, and that's just not for me. When it comes to him, but that's just my opinion. I know you can't, cause child, I wouldn't have never been able to make that. Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. Figured it out. Said I heard that her attorney is the same attorney that EJ uses. May have been. I don't know. I like I said, I seen that complaint a while ago. And I wasn't too like thinking his case was all that strong either, but I don't know where they're at. Somebody said they was headed to trial or whatnot. Um, I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna have to look up that case and see what's going on if you guys care and are interested. But Tyrone said he is going down for this, Pam, using God's name the wrong way. It might be the justice from above, though. I don't know. And the thing about this too is you also have to remember that churches typically, can you imagine being a judge reading some of these complaints? Judge is probably like, what? This looking like a sci-fi movie. What is this? Am I in the Matrix? Um, they try not to get into ecclesiastical issues. And so the church, they have to be able to separate certain issues that may be considered ecclesiastical. Of course, if you break the law, you break the law. Don't matter. If it's any type of for real sexual abuse, sexual harassment, any of that, that's a problem. The courts are going to step in because you still have to follow the laws of the land. However, I don't see that. Like to say we consented to have sex, but I'm gonna say it's a sexual battery is just off to me, because the whole premise of a sexual battery is non-consent. So I don't know. You got to see the way they staged the altar call a mess. Folks faking demon possession. Just wow. Oh no, girl. Oh my gosh. Yeah, send me the original complaint. Yeah, because I seen it. I don't even know what I did with it. I just never. It wasn't anything I was really into watching. Like I saw his apology video and I didn't even want to be bothered. And that's the thing too. It's a new era with these pastors that are public figures. They want to PR everything. So it's like I'm sure they got their PR team, and the PR teams try to decide if this is worth giving statements and or whatnot. But I didn't think he should have said anything when he talked, but he wanted to prove, because I felt like he was throwing digs at the girl. Like he was throwing digs at her. And it was like, I'm not going to say her name. Like just being real mean on top of it. Almost like it don't matter what you do, I'm invincible. It just came across wrong to me. And again, do she have to take responsibility? Yeah, because she coming across a little. But when you become a pastor, like you have got to get some discipline about yourself. This is not a position for an undisciplined human being. It's just not. You're going to consistently find yourself in situations if you don't have discipline. If you married who you say God called you to marry, then go with that. Like you're supposed to forsake all others. You took them vows. If you really were in the covenant, you wouldn't be playing around like that. Not with messing with all these other people, allegedly. But yeah. These are not outlandish claims based on what I saw. This dude is capable of all these alleged. And I'm not saying that I'm not giving an opinion. I've seen strange things in churches. So I'm not saying that it's not possible that in these churches, in that church, that it was everything that EJ and all them said it was. But at one point, when are you gonna relax? Like he was coming out with video after video. Either you gonna do something about it or you not. And my issue that I have with a lot of people, and this is across the board, and I've said this before, when you're in it and you're benefiting from it, none of this stuff bothers you. When you see other people that are getting manipulated, allegedly, their money is not being utilized and allocated the way it's supposed to be, when you're watching this because you're on the good side, you're an associate, you're an armor bearer, you're something in the church, you see this and you don't give a damn. Like you were with him through all of this. And then all of a sudden, when you decide enough is enough, and then you want to start your own congregation and all of that, it's like now you want to expose. I just have a problem with that. If you know somebody is doing something wrong, you should be exposed. You shouldn't be sitting there in it and watching. And you can say, I repented. Yeah, okay. I repented for saying, yeah, but your whole credibility to me is gone. Because if you sit there and watch it, I can't stand when people is like, they always did that. They've been doing that for 5 years. Then you just been watching him for 5 years. So you're just basically like, because it didn't happen to me and I wasn't affected, that I don't care this happening to other people. There, Jesus is nowhere in your whole logic. So that doesn't make sense to me. So I don't know. Angel's calling them on the phone. Good child. Y'all not doing this to me today. Okay, let me see. EJ. Where is his case? Let's see where his case is headed to. While we on here, we might as well. I mean, is that? Hold on. I think you might have sent me the same one, Tracy. Hold on. You sent me that same pro se one. You gotta send the one with EJ because it's the same one I have already. Yeah, you just resent me the same one. You said I drove from Sacramento to Simi Valley, rented a hotel, was there for 3 days. I never knew who the man was until she said she wanted to go. I couldn't be paid to sit under that kind of foolishness. Well, some people are searching. You said she's doing too much. Yeah, a lot of them are. I don't know. Maybe because we weren't talking about her anymore, or other people that were talking about her. I never really did. I commented in a few chats about it when I've seen other people talk about it, but I never covered it over here. So maybe like her name was nowhere being mentioned no more, and you feel. I mean, honey, you got to go get a job. I don't know what to tell you. Go find somebody else with more money. I don't know. But to be like he caused her financial ruin and all of that, that's the decision. Sometimes it's the decision. Like it's the choices that you made. All right, let me see, Tracy. All right. So I'm gonna put his case in here too to see where it is. 25. You guys bear with me because I'm gonna look up this other case real quick. See. I got a lot going on in this doggone case. So somebody did an anti-slap and a motion to quash. Let me see who did it on that case. So you guys know what the anti-slap is. because he was suing, Lovey Elias was suing for defamation. And so EJ Newton. So EJ is the one that filed a motion to strike. So he did looks like he did an anti-slap motion. Order defendant's motion to acquire services, summons, and dismiss action. I remember one of the girls that got sued, I think it was Jack, said that she was not properly served. So maybe that's what the motion to quash the summons or whatever. No, EJ Newton is trying to do a motion to quash service of the summons and dismiss the action. Oh, it's a lot going on. Motion to compel the deposition of him. Yeah, they're full force in that case where they got a lot going on in that case. So you said do better next time, more evidence. No, just kind of walk away. Sometimes things don't work out. We've all been lied to, and I think it just hurts more when you're lied to by a pastor. I think that's what it is. Because you put some type of faith in them. But I think people are slowly recognizing that they're not God. So anyway, y'all, I've been on for 2 hours. This was supposed to be a little 30-minute live. It's always a pleasure. If you guys have not hit that like button, make sure that you hit it. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for each and every super chat and cash app. I appreciate it. I'll make sure that Danielle gets her birthday tokens. I said, girl, she been racking up today. I'm going to have to deposit some of this money. This ain't even going to be able to go in the little piggy bank. Hey, Miss Cola Pop, you're going to have to hit that. You're going to have to hit that replay. Thank you so much in advance. So hit that like button. But yeah, that's it. Maybe we'll see. We'll follow this case if you guys want to. If I get any more like little things, I'll probably just do it in the membership. I don't think I'll do a whole live. Again, you guys have my email address. If it's something that you guys want to cover, if there's a trial that you want to cover and I'm able to, and it doesn't conflict with my work, then I will definitely do that as well. Yeah, and I think that's it, y'all. Until next time, thank you all so much for your support. I'll talk to you soon.